Hello and welcome to the Kindred Essence Tarot. For this reading, we will determine what is your karma for your fake, or what is the karma for your fake, backstabbing, narcissistic ex-friend. So we've got pile number 1, the red flashlight, pile number 2, the green flashlight, and pile number 3, the yellow flashlight. So take a look at each or tune into each pile 1, 2, and 3, and make your determination as to what you feel is the right pile for you, and we will move on to pile number 1, the red flashlight pile. All right, hello pile number 1, the red flashlight pile. Let's see what cards we have for you. For what is the karma for your fake, backstabbing, narcissistic ex-friend. So we've got the Knight of Wands, we've got the Five of Pentacles, we've got the Temperance card, we've got the Five of Wands, and we've got the Knight of Wands. Interesting. So we've got lots of fire energy here. So my sense is that your ex-friend was very much not a wallflower. Like they were very much an impulsive and a very impulsive person. Like they they very much I heard the words like they sometimes got you into trouble, and with their impulsivity they really needed to be the boss. They really needed to be in control. Like that's my sense of them. I heard the words bossy bitch, very bossy. So they're very much out there. They may for some people, they may be, I heard, at first popular, but then people figured out who they were. So this is, so I see somebody has very much the energy of impulsive, like an overt narcissist, more of an overt, because there's also the covert narcissist, but that is, so I just see a very overt energy, and I see an energy of them always like barging into danger. Like that's the energy that I see, like a very much the opposite to your energy. I see this almost as dynamic as your energy was very tempering, and you may be more of a, not necessarily, in some cases, quiet, more of a soothing energy, right? So this is perhaps why you became friends with this person, is because you kind of had a very opposite energy. Like this person would always be barging into trouble, getting people into trouble. I heard some cases you may have known them since high school, and they're always sort of the life of the party, but now let's see, what did they do to you? Let's see. I heard there's some. They, let's see, I got three from the bottom. Three, like, and I heard from that is that they were very much, they were very, like, they had a very impulsive energy, but and yet they were very, like, they held on. They were very selfish. That's what I heard. Very greedy, and I see this energy of them almost um like draining your energy all the time. I see this energy of them very much like taking from you emotionally. Like they're very much an emotional, and it sounds, because it's kind of almost contradictory, because they were they had this very impulsive energy. Like always, they may have gotten into, you know, trouble doing very, like, almost, I almost see erratic, strange things that, like, a person, like almost that normal people wouldn't do. And it's kind of like you were sort of fascinated by this energy. Like, wow, they're like very much the life of the party, right? They very much have this impulsive, and we have the red flashlight here, like for very like sort of that red root impulsive energy. You're like, oh well, this person is so, and you may have been initially drawn to this person, but it's almost like you figured out that this energy was very much a front, like this popular outgoing energy, and they were quite selfish, and they almost, I see them being almost, they had this contrasting side, that they kind of took from you, and they but And I also heard that in some cases they dragged you into, or they would drag other people into conflict. There was a part of them that really liked to do that, to drag people into conflict. And you're kind of the tempering energy, so it's sort of like, that's why you kind of became friends with them. And yeah, so they basically, but I hear that they also had a very, if you wouldn't seem that way with the wands energy, but they actually had a very needy energy with the four of pentacles, and they'd always be, they had no trouble taking from me from various ways, maybe financially, that could be, because the pentacles financial, but I see more, in some cases it could have been that, like they took money, but just not a giving person. Like a lot of times when people are, outgoing and gregarious, they can be giving people, right? They can be giving to, other people. They can have that as a good part of their nature. But I see that this person had no really good part to their nature. Like they're just not a good person. I wouldn't say that they're necessarily evil, because that's a very strong word, but they're just not a good person. Like they take from you. They would almost like, they would take from you. I see this energy draining you, but not giving anything, like just not giving anything to you, and just like expecting, like they would expect you to listen to all their problems, and then and then and then basically if you had a problem, it would be like, oh, I don't care. Like whatever. Like it just, they could not be bothered. Like they very much dominated the conversation, and left you with little type thing. And I see as part of their karma. And I get there's more than that, but I hear because of their sort of ungiving nature to you and other people, and how they've taken. Like I see them, like you're a very tempering, loving person, and they took advantage of that. They very much took advantage of that. Um they tried to drain you to dry, like for as much energy that they could. They saw like, oh, you've got all this tempering energy that I need. And it could be, it's no excuse, but it could be very much they had like a hole in their heart, and then they just had to take, and they saw you were like the perfect target, right? You were just, I see you as being like sort of loving, innocent, or not innocent, but I don't know what the right word is, but you just had a loving energy, and they just took that from them, took that it never was enough, and then they would just take, and never, I see them being the negative aspect of the Four of Pentacles, just never giving, never giving. So what I see is for their karma, and I sense there's more from it than that, but it's like complete emotional poverty. Like they just, because of their lack of kind of what they did to you, just draining you, not giving you anything, being, and I see for some a big part of it is they have a hole in their heart, so they have to sort of constantly go into sort of impulsive, dangerous. I hear in some cases, and not for all, but it's sort of like they would drag you into impulsive, like he's going into this direction, the Knight of Wands, and then the Five of Wands is conflict. He's kind of this energy of dragging you into, or other people too, I hear, into sort of impulsive situations, or dragging themselves into impulsive situations, right? Really kind of dangerous, red for danger kind of situations. And you didn't really quite know what this person was like, I hear, until like maybe 7, 8, even 9, 4 to 9 years, something like that. Maybe some of you kind of saw indications at the beginning, but you're just kind of like, oh, that's that's kind of interesting. Oh, that's interesting. You kind of like were like, oh, water under the bridge, until you really figured it. Okay, and I hear in some cases this could be really, like I see an energy of just car crashes, drunk driving for some, but that's only for a few. But like just really, like they could actually endanger other people with their sort of need to invade and go into like unsafe situations. And they're just, I can see this very contradicting energy, like taking invading, fiery. We had like a tempering, loving energy, so it was just they just took from you. And I see for their karma, it is sort of complete and utter emotional poverty. That's what I see. It could be actual physical poverty, but I see more emotional poverty. We've got the tempering card, and so if it's not actually physical poverty, it's emotional poverty, for just not having, not feeling that people give to them, not feeling that people, like, they don't, like, they always feel that that people like owe them, owe them something, that they owe them something, but they would just, I see them just taking from you emotionally, and just, like, I hear that in some cases you would listen to them go on and on and on about their dramas, they would just go on and on, like, just about their, just in a very narcissistic way, just like a very, very narcissistic way, and then if you had a problem, they just couldn't care less if you had a problem. So let's see, what other karma do they have? I got, okay, 4 from the bottom, and kind of 3 from the bottom. So interesting. So I said this kind of interesting. So I got the Star and the Lovers, and what I get from that is that they'll never feel, one of the things is they'll never feel whole within themselves, like they'll never feel the sense of sunshiny connection, not this wholeness within themselves. For the Lovers, they'll never feel the true love that they want reflected outside of themselves, because they don't have it inside, they don't have the love within, so they never find, like, they don't, because they'll never find a reflection of that outside of true, like, they have the sense that, oh, everyone should just almost, they have that this sense, and they have this weird, I get very much narcissistic vibe, they have this delusion that everyone should almost glorify them, they should be in the sun constantly, and no one else, I hear, no one else can be in the sun but them, like, no one else, but because of that, this broken nature, they'll never really have the sun, because the sun has to be within them, before they, and I got one more card for, oop, my card deck is coming apart, okay, and I got, let's see, Page of Swords, interesting, so, I almost get this, I get this can be 3 different things, like, I hear in some cases, they may meet a character like this, if you look at the energy of this Page of Swords, it's kind of duplicious, it's like they're going to meet someone who is, I hear in some cases they'll meet their match, I hear that's in about 20 to 30% of the cases, in some I hear that they're going to have a child that's just as obnoxious as they are, in some cases, that's what I hear, in some cases, in some, I hear another thing, like their nightmares will never end, like they're going to have like constant nightmares about, the way that they've treated you, other people, and it's just like the lack of peace of that, fiery wand, wayward energy will be always, with them, like the lack of peace. So they're going to meet their match, like, whenever it's like, and then let's see, what we want some healing energy for you. So interesting, I got Sacred Knowledge. So ancient and sacred knowledge is waiting within the heart of earth, yearning to be discovered. Crystals hold the key, connect energetically with the earth and her crystal realm. Healing, love, and abundance results. So I hear for that is that, yeah, you need to connect with your own grounding again, because this may be a traumatic, I see a lot of fiery traumatic. So I hear you need to connect with your spiritual center again. I also hear, and speak or act with negativity and pain follows. Speak or act with a pure heart and happiness follows. So be mindful of being positive in all you say and do. Know that each of your thoughts and deeds has the power to heal you and those around you. So watch them closely without judging. So I hear that you feel a lot of negativity around this person, which is very, very understandable. And I hear that that there's a party that just really needs to get away from this person, so you can no longer have that negativity, because you don't really, and that's not who you are as a person, but it's like this person really left a bad taste in your mouth, so to speak. So it's like you kind of need to heal that, so you can find your innate positivity again, because you feel cynical about this person, which is very understandable. And I heard also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Interesting. It says, a visit or a call from a friend can heal you. So you can heal a friend in the same way. Is there someone you've been wanting to contact but haven't made time for? Today, make the time. So what I hear from that is that, like, there's to sort of this person has sort of overclouded because of their intense wand narcissistic energy. They've perhaps clouded away other connections that you could have because they were so consuming, they were so emotionally consuming, and not in a good way, I might add. But it's like I see sort of connect with people that have that temper, people that are like you, that have that tempering energy. Like I hear those are the only people that you want to have in your life, is that are on that same wavelength, perhaps star seeds, perhaps they have that tempering energy, because you'll be a better match to them. You'll feel safer, you'll feel less cynical about the human race. So that's an important thing, right? Not to feel cynical about the human race, because that can happen sometimes when you've had very negative experiences with people. So it's about healing that and then giving that tempering energy to yourself, allowing people into your life, seeking them out energetically, creating this almost energy field that will attract those people that have that energy. Like I hear, like, to attract different people, attract the people that you want that have that tempering energy, and put that strong intention and empower yourself with that energy to have that kind healing energy, because you deserve to have that kind healing energy. You don't deserve this person. You deserve people who have this kind healing energy. All right, that's all we get for pile 1. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was helpful for you. And now it is time to move on to pile number 2. So I'm going to put these cards away. Hello, pile number 2s. I'm just going to put this card in the next deck. And now it is time for the green pile, which is pile number 2. So what is the karma for your fake, backstabbing, narcissistic ex-friend? So we've got the 7 of Cups, we've got the 9 of Pentacles, we've got the Queen of Wands in reversed, and we've got the 6 of Wands upright, and we've got the Fool. So immediately let me get this card in the center so you can see it. So I immediately get with this is that this is a very, like, almost passive aggressive person I see that you're friends with. And yeah, it's kind of a different energy than I got for pile number 1. There's a lot of wand energy in the pile number 1, but here we've got Queen of Wands in reversed, everything else upright. So when the Queen of Wands, so I hear, instead of being a really overt narcissist, this was like a covert narcissist. I see an energy of somebody being, I see with this green flashlight, I see this energy of the person pretending to have healing energy. They may have been somebody who's in the spiritual field. You may have met them in the spiritual field, but and you figured out. Oop, my cat! I don't want her to mess with the camera again. She knocked it over before. Let me push her out of the way. But yeah, she very much, or this person, if they were a she, you may have met them in like a spiritual field, so you thought, oh, they must be safe because they're in a spiritual, or maybe even writing or something, yoga. I even heard something along those energy, like artistic, spiritual lines. Maybe even an intuition building circle, and you thought, oh, they were so nice, but they're really. I heard that they seeped poison into you slowly, and I also see this image of like almost a snake. They would almost like little jabs. I see this image of just little jabs on words, and you're like, oh, they seem so. You thought they were safe, right? Because they were, you met them in a spiritual circle or manifesting circle, something along those lines. Yoga, manifesting, writing, artistic, those kind of healing, soothing arts. But they were like, they would say like mean things. I see them kind of gossiping, like they were not a true friend, like gossiping too behind your back, but not in an overt way, because the Queen of Wands upright is very overt, right? She's very bossy, but they're not like that. They're like, I hear in some cases they may have a lot of wealth, but not, and this isn't for everyone, but not be happy. Like they may have a lot of, you thought they must be safe because they seem to have a lot of, you met them in a spiritual kind of energy place. They seem to have a lot going for them, and like how could they, you thought to yourself, well, how could they be unsafe? Like, they have a lot of things going for them. They're not pushy. They seem nice, but they would gossip. But you found out in some cases they say things behind your back. And I also see this energy. I'm getting this energy of like it built over time. Like it was like, oh no no no, they're fine. But like you found they were just really, like, they would really inject some very manipulative energies into like turning people. It could, and I see for some like it's kind of like a group situation. It's like they would just totally manipulate and twist people's words to make them that they're not, and then tell somebody else, and lots of gossip, slander. Like, just I see this image of like a circle, them selling one person, them turning another, kind of going around it, getting twisted, and just I hear a very kind of whispery energy. And yeah, I keep on hearing like, how could they do that? You're thinking, why would they do that? They've got a lot of things going in their life. They're they're wealthy. They've got, you know, they're not in all cases, but they just seem to have a lot of abundance. And you thought, oh, they've got a good relationship. They've got what could you hear you thinking, like, what could possibly cause them to act this way? Um, and because they just seem to have things going for them, right? They seem to have a sense, like, they may seem, but I hear they're not at all happy at all, and this is part of their karma. They're just, I hear this energy, and normally the black cat would be a positive, thing in the stream, but I just see here in this indicate I hear that they have a very black soul, almost like the seething snake-like energy. And it doesn't make sense because they seem to have it all, or a lot, but they have a seething black energy, and it's almost like a lake monster. That's what I see of it. Like, it's sort of like this lake monster, and I hear they can never ever be trusted ever. Like, they almost seem otherworldly, but in a bad way. Not in a, like, sometimes people have, positive otherworldly energy, right? But I hear they don't. They've kind of connected. They could be very much into spirituality, but instead of connecting to a positive spiritual energy, I hear they somehow got entangled, maybe even through past lifetimes. They may have gotten entangled in a really dark spiritual energy. I see for some, like, they put themselves, like, they're very abuse of spirituality. That's the words I hear, like abuse of spirituality. Like, they may even be the center of a spiritual harem. I see in some cases, like, sort of a center, and they may be an underhanded leader of this spiritual harem, and I hear they're always, well, I see for the Seven of Cups, they're always saying things to make you, they're always instilling doubt, manipulation, and doubt, I see in energies. And I see for the green, instead of a healing energy, it's sort of like a snake-like energy. It's not a loving energy, it's a seething energy. And the Fool, they, I hear for different things. It's just sort of like, this is what I see for the Fool. Like, people don't know what this person is like, so I just see this image of, is like, of the Fool, like, people just walking into this person's web, unbeknownst to them, like, not knowing what they're walking into. Like, it's a very strange energy. Almost, it's a very seething energy. And I see this image too of almost like a snake. Like, sometimes they'll just stab you out of nowhere. They'll just say things, like, and it's like you didn't even do anything to you. I see you scratching your head, like, why on earth would that person, like, you're just almost perplexed. Why on earth would that person do that? So let's do some cards to see, okay, why does this person act like the way, and I get the Queen of Cups. Interesting. So that's just the energy that I'm getting. It's kind of a confirmation. I'm kind of getting the same thing, just a very, like, the Queen of Cups in her negative aspect, just a seething emotional energy of discontent. And it's like they almost, it's like, yeah, they're almost like, I hate to say they're an NPC, but it's like, it's almost like, I hear, not quite an NPC, but like they're, nobody's home, I hear. The lights are on, but no one's home. It's like I almost get a sense of demonic possession with this person, which can happen, like they, and I hear, yeah, and I see with the Page of Pentacles, it's like someone has their soul, and they feel like they'll never get it back. Like it's a very, it's hard to say exactly why this person is so messed up, but it's like it's almost, I see a very spiritual aspect to this, like very much like a spiritual aspect to this. It's like someone took their soul and they have this seething energy that's almost not human about them. And this can very much happen, right? The darker realms can, in fact, take over and invade someone. So yeah, I hear for some, this person may actually have some power and control, so they can do some spiritual abuse and damage to people. I hear for some, this may actually be, this may actually be some sort of in a role of healer, but they're kind of a very toxic healer that's not, that like doesn't necessarily always have good intentions. Like it's just a very bad energy, very bad energy. And the moon, it's like and I see for that, like they somehow went on this journey, maybe several lives ago, and they never quite got back to their human self. So it's a very slithery, weird, it's like a very spiritually demonic energy that you're doing quiet, but slithering across the grass. That's what I feel. Very slithery energy. So what is their karma? And I get that I hear the word, it's a very interesting karma. Like, which I'm trying to get. Okay, and I'm trying to put it into words the best way I can, but they'll always be in this black space, no matter who they're with. And they'll always feel like the Nine of Wands, like they're never complete, because the Nine of Wands is almost, it's passion and fire, and it's almost getting to the end, right? It's almost, 9 is almost at the 10 suit, but it's like they'll always be stuck in this spiritual limbo. And I just keep on this, I almost see the movie Insidious, like, come up for some reason, like somehow this, yeah, I see that this person very much got caught up in the demonic realm, whether they wanted to or not. They didn't, maybe they didn't want to, right? I mean, because I mean, when it comes down to it, who really wants to, get involved with that and be unhappy? But it's like they got involved with this demonic realm, and it's like that because of that, they'll always be in this state of limbo of not quite completing it, and not being, never ever being truly human, never being whole. That's what I see, like just emotionally being never whole. But I see a lot of perplexion on your part, because I keep just seeing you thinking like, oh, how could this person be this way when there's no reason for it. Like there's no reason for them to treat me or other people this way, but they seem to have this spiritual poison that like, so yeah, it's almost like I hear a contract. In some cases, it actually goes back many lifetimes where they were very spiritually powerful, and they got involved in something, an energy that kind of took over them lifetime to life. And I also got, yeah, the Chariot. They rush into something that they shouldn't have, and it's haunted them for many lifetimes, and they never feel quite well because of this. Because of this sort of contract I see that they made with this demonic being. And I see this demonic being as being very serious and yet subtle. It's like, it's almost a part of them now, because of the lifetimes, right? They were very powerful. Like they may have been a very well-intentioned spiritual person, but they somehow went down this track where they got this energy attached to them, and it's really annoying because it's almost a part of them now. It's like, and they're just like, when will I be out of this? Well, then I get, okay, what do you need to learn with this situation? I heard gateway to meditate, or I saw the gateway to meditation. So I hear, like, you may be a very intuitive spiritual person yourself, so you may want to I see that you have the ability to just go within, put yourself in a meditative state. You're able to figure things out and see, okay, what is this? Try and maybe from a safe distance to maybe give yourself some closure in some of the cases of people watching this. Just kind of go into a state and sort of see. Now, don't get entangled. You want to move beyond this situation. You want to entangle out of this situation, but you want to maybe see this person and the being that's, maybe it would help you to understand this and then extricate, like this being may have sort of or hurt the energy, this dark spiritual energy may have entangled you. So like go within, see it for what it is, and then take that sword and release it from you, right? It's almost as a very sticky magnetic energy to you that kind of I see it's very almost wants to stick to you, this person, and a magnetic energy or the being attached to it. So it's like, and yeah, I see the seven of the swords. It wants to like it wants to attach to you, it wants to take from you, it wants to steal as much energy underhanded as it can. So I see for you to like sort of release yourself from the energy, go within, see what it is, and see. I see that almost you feel like the truth of the situation is so elusive to you, right? So it's like I think going just for closure, but not. They caution me to not to do what you can to release yourself from this, but knowing for some, to see it for your own eyes. I see, like just to go into a state, meditation. You know how you do that. You just kind of calm yourself, and then just see with your mind's eye, see what information you can get in this. But then I see, just knowing this will help you cleanse from it. Well, and then, but I see that they say you'll need some spiritual discipline for some picking this pile get to, yeah, I hear spiritual, the high priestess. So going within, like for you it's sort of like you'll need a lot of, I hear, spiritual discipline to extricate yourself from this energy. Like you'll need some spiritual energy to sort of within yourself. Like it's almost like a spiritual that's what I get from this card. It's sort of a spiritual welfare energy, because this person I see, they may in some cases they may try and do it again. I hear like they might, like they're tricky, like I see, because the downside of the high priest is that like that it's a very tricky person. So I see that you may have to be tricky yourself. And I hear, look at this situation as sort of an exercise in spiritual discernment and spiritual like extrication, like sort of like how do you deal with the dark side. I hear like look at it almost as sort of a an initiation of how to deal with the dark side, how to release it. And I hear them say you are more than capable of dealing with this, but keep your head on your shoulders. Don't trust this person or the situation, because it will ensnare you, it will magnetize you, it's got a sticky energy. But I see, be true to yourself, find your true center, and look at it as a challenge to release yourself. I hear always look at it as a challenge to release yourself from this situation. So that's what I hear, an interesting energy, very different from pile one. It's almost diametrically opposed to pile number one. This is energy. It's like, but yeah, I hear also some messages. I just hear you can do it. You can do it. You can, and I hear that in some cases where you have to, like there may be some situations where you may want it, you may be part of a group with this, so you may want to be around certain people in this group, and this person that I hear just put like shield yourself all the time, put a white light, or whatever light you feel is appropriate. Put it from the center of your being. Surround yourself with unconditional love, and create a field that will help you like repel this particular person. You could do that because there's different shields for different people. Like if you are dealing with a particular person, so you can create a shield that's particular for this person. And some of you may not want having to do with this person. You may be a matter of completely extricating your energy from this person, but for some, you may still be in their field. So I hear just put that energy field and do your spiritual work to deal with this manipulative spiritual energy. That's what I hear. Do your work to deal with this manipulative spiritual energy. So that's all we have for pile number 2. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was of value to you. And now it is time for pile number 3, the yellow pile. So let's see. What do we have for this? The Ace of Pentacles, 2 of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune. So I see that this person, okay, let's see what, tune into the energy of this person. I see, first of all, I see an energy of manipulation and not this person, like I hear that they didn't treat you with respect. They didn't treat you with like they were very disrespectful. They made you angry with the like sort of the disrespectful things how they treated you, and they had almost a contemptuous, mean-spirited energy. That's what I see. I see this energy of this person looking down at you, just sort of having this contemptuous, mean-spirited energy. And I hear that this person, they always wanted to make people feel, it's a very strange thing I get, but they always wanted to make people feel that they should die. That's a very strange thing, but like they always made people feel like they're worst about themselves. That's what I hear. They always made people feel they're worst about themselves, and they could do a lot of emotional damage, I hear, because there's something kind of imbalance going on with them, like very, very imbalanced. And I hear they did a lot of emotional damage with words. That's what I'm getting with this pile. And it's like they made people feel very unlucky. They made people feel that they were not a good person. They'd always be like attacking. I see this energy of just making people feel defensive. Like they made people feel very bad, and you weren't the only person. You know, I want to assure you that this is you are not the only person that they did this to. Like they just a really poisonous energy, and they felt almost justified. Like they don't see like there's just something wrong with them. I just see this contemptuous energy. This may have been someone you met at work, but I hear they speak the energy of death. Like they speak the energy of death and lack of luck. And they did this to you, but they did this to tons of other people too. Like mean words, just always, they had to have one up on you. They always had to, let me see if I can get some more cards with that. Yeah, they very much had to, what else did they do? The pile number 3, the yellow flashlight pile. The Tower. They may have, in some way, may have shaken up your world by some action, like, and in some cases, very small cases, it could have been actually a violent action, like, but I see more, it was just, they spoke the energy of death, and they did something very traumatic to you that shook up your world in some way. Mean words, contemptuous words. They may have, I see in some cases, they may have like put you down in front of other people, put you down, sometimes in some cases subtle, they put you down, but sometimes it was just straight, like they spoke the energy of death and lack of luck and judgmental meanness type thing. And 9 of Pentacles, they made everyone around them feel defensive, like, so it's like they're always just a very emotionally unsafe person. They were always emotionally unsafe person that was always attacking people's sense of worth, their sense of their sense of their sense of self, almost like they like to find the right words to make you feel like this, right? We've got this reversed, and they made you feel like this, and they made you, the 10 of Swords, right? You see sword, all stabbing the back, right? All just stabbing the back. And yeah, I hear in some cases they may have stolen something, but more often not, it was just stealing your self-esteem. That's what they tried to do. They tried to steal your luck. I see this image almost of them throwing up stuff on you, and I see that they're very much just their karma is being in the energy of this absolute filth. But let's see what else. I see too their karma is always, because they don't see it really as being wrong, or they've cut themselves off from this part of themselves. They really have. And because, oh, interesting, the ace of, that must be significant, because that's the Ace of Pentacles, two Ace of Pentacles. I use two decks. I combine them just because it adds a sort of a combined energy. But I see that they're always, their karma is, it could be, I hear it's about 5 different things, but one of them is just an energy of constantly, I mean, because the whole idea about this card is you want to be out of this state. You want to be out of the state of the Seven of Wands, right? You want to be out of the state of constantly, like, having things be hard, constantly, having things be difficult. But I see they're always going to be stuck in it, and I hear it's their own doing, because they don't, I see the head of this, it's very strange. I see the head of this person is saying the meanness. I see this person just spewing this meanness, this Ten of Swords energy at you and other people. And because they could remove themselves from this circle. But because they're not really into spiritual growth, because they always have this contemptuous ego energy to them, this contemptuous ego energy, they never really snap out of this state, because they're constantly going to be in this circle of being meanness, circle. So the whole point is to move from these state, the pentacles, and to move out of it. But I see they're always going to be this state as part of their karma. I hear about 5 different things, because 5, this is a collective pile, but like they're always in this circular state, and always trying hard, but never, I hear the Ace of Pentacles came up twice, so I see it, that's kind of double confirmation. They never truly get what they want. In some weird way, they're trying to, by acting this way towards other people, they're trying to get what they want in some wayward way, but because of some weird twist in their psyche, they never get what they want. They never fully are grounded in this sort of state of peace, of earthy, grounded peace, getting what they truly want. And it could even be, they think it's some physical. They think that having something physical in their life is what is, important, but it's actually not. Even if they get 2 Aces of Pentacles, they'll never be really happy with that, because it's like, yeah, they'll never be truly happy with it, because it's not really what they want. It's not going to give them peace, but they won't get it anyway. But even if they did, they wouldn't be happy with that, and they'd always be in this cycle, because they don't really see that how they treat other people is wrong. They just think, well, I'm just telling people like it is, and I'm just, but they just really a mean judgmental person is what I see. Just someone who would say, well, I'm just telling it like it is, but then you're just like, well, is it really that way, or is that just your distortion? Is that really just your distortion that you're putting on to other people? But yeah, I hear this sneer. I see this person morphing into a sneer. So they just have a really mean, sneering energy to them. And then I got, okay, what else do you need to do? Queen of Swords. I hear that they think that they'll have peace by constantly stabbing people with words, right? Making them feel like this. And I hear, no, but they won't. They'll never get the Ace of Pentacles. They'll never get the 2 Aces of Pentacles acting that way. It's just not gonna happen, right? They'll never have that inner peace. They'll never get that completion. They'll always be in that state. And then let's see what else. And I got, this is important. And I hear don't wait for this person. Just release yourself from the energy of this person as much as you can, and it may be hard because the wound, the Tower, the Ten of Swords, it may be very hard because you may have fresh wounds from this person, right? They may have, in some cases, they may be fresh wounds, but this popped up right here. But I hear that you can be the King of Cups. You can have that emotional center, and I see this person as kind of the Page of Wands, almost trying this immature. I see this immature, fiery energy. Like they think that that just invading people's spaces. I hear that too, invading people's spaces, causing this energy they think that this is the way to be, right? To like put people down, to sneer at other people, to sort of like, you know, that energy. But it's like, and I hear too that they'll never have, one of their karmas, they'll never feel like a true healthy child. Like I hear they didn't really have a good, upbringing, right? And not that that's any excuse, but they'll never feel, because they don't ever heal that energy that causes them to act in this way, to cause this damage. Like they don't, because they never heal this energy. They'll never, like, they'll never fully, what do you call it? Never be that, they'll never really be that energy. So then I hear also that for the King of Cups, like they'll never really, you know they'll they'll never have that actually solidified, what do you call it, that sort of solidified energy of maturity. And I hear you can have that energy. You can have that energy like of maturity, of emotional maturity. You'll be able to, by embodying that energy, you can move beyond them. And I hear also, subliminal, to be sure of the road, close your eyes and walk in the dark. Spiritually, closing your eyes permits heaven to enact the most wonderful guidance in your life. Say the prayer, open a new word to me today, and expect the unexpected. When at its purest, accept the gift. So I hear, from sort of walking away the situation, you'll be able to have other gifts that this person cannot offer you, and you'll have people in your life that are can actually offer you something in this life. And I hear you'll know who those people are, and who they aren't. Like you'll be able to, by going within and just finding your spiritual center, you'll know in your life who is good. And because, yeah, I see a very, very, very toxic energy for this energy. It's extremely, extremely toxic. All right, I think that's pretty much. All right, here one more card. Ooh, 3, 4, 6 from the bottom I heard. So let's see what card that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And also interesting, I heard claim your art. And I heard that to get away from this energy, like sort of focusing on your, like, artistically, you may have a lot of artistic talents, like writing or yeah, just other artistics, writing or just creating. And very, some I see creating with their hands, with clay. That's only a limited, some people, but yeah, claiming your art will help you find, because I sense you probably have a very bad taste in your mouth from this energy. So I hear that to walk away from that, like just claim your art. And I hear find your inner peace. I hear like find the, and have some water. Yeah, find the inner peace that that this person does not have. That's what I hear. Like, find the inner peace and just find an energy in yourself that's diametrically opposed to this person. Like something that's very, and then by going into your spiritual center and embodying the energy of the King of Cups, because he's very stable and emotionally mature. Because my sense is this person, they tried to, in some where they wanted to create some of them wanted to actually create this tower moment for you. And this, combined with that, they wanted to do that. They wanted to take your peace away from you. But he's not affected by that, the King of Cups. He's in a state of inner peace, of inner equilibrium, and he doesn't allow this person to take the peace, despite their negative intentions, despite their, their ill intent, their desire to make you feel unlucky, bad about yourself, crushed or hurt. Like, you know, that despite this person's sort of sneering negative intent, you can find your peace and your spiritual center through your art, or even otherwise, whatever. You'll know. I hear that you'll know what that is, that you need to do. That you have the power within to figure that out. All right, thank you very much. That's all we have for pile number 3. I hope you enjoyed that and found that useful.